Day 1 of the diary, but it's been 2 weeks at least since it all started. Found a big stack of paper for the printer or something. There were also some pens and pencils nearby. It was an office supplies shop, I guess. I write in large letters. Can't see them, of course. Hopefully, my scribbles will be legible, though God only knows if these notes will ever reach anyone who can read them. It's been about a couple weeks since I stopped seeing, and I still haven't met a living soul. On the other hand, the sudden, mysterious disappearance of humanity from the part of the world currently available to me gives me some hope. Maybe it wasn't me who had gone blind, but something had happened to the light, as crazy as that might sound. If one incredible cataclysm had happened, why not another? It's amazing what ridiculous straws a hopelessly drowning consciousness can grasp at in the abyss of despair. For the second week, I have lived in solitude and darkness. It makes no difference whether my eyes are open or closed. I can feel the wind, the sun's warmth, and raindrops on my face, but I can see absolutely nothing. Another thing that gives rise to the fantastic hope that not my sight is lost, but the light is no more, is the disappearance of electricity. It's gone not only from the grid. This, with the complete absence of people, seems perfectly logical, but in any other form. Of course, I can't see if my pocket flashlight is working, but I've also checked various other battery-powered devices, cell phones, toys, radios, and the like, all dead. I can't think of any explanation for this, but after 2 weeks spent as if in a feverish delirium, I am calm because the world I am apparently destined to exist in now denies the possibility of logical explanations for anything. I'm tired. It takes a lot of work to write blindly. I constantly have to check the distance between the line and the top edge of the sheet to write horizontally, as well as the distance to the right edge to start a new line. Of course, I'm slowly getting used to it, but the process is still highly tedious. That's enough for today. Tomorrow I will go to the supermarket again. I need to replenish my food stock. Day 2. Almost got lost. I'm used to navigating blindly, but the situation becomes more complicated if I wander into an unfamiliar area. However, in my current situation, getting lost doesn't feel scary. I can enter any open house and eat any food I can find if it's not spoiled. After the first moments of panic, I calmed down, thought a bit, and realized that I had taken a left turn a few hundred feet earlier than I should have and found myself in a small courtyard, the existence of which in my previous life I did not even suspect. I reconstructed the route in my mind, tracked back my virtual steps, and soon found myself in familiar territory. There is almost no fresh food left in the supermarket. I have to wrap a scarf soaked in perfume around my face, as vegetables, fruits, and especially meat and fish are actively rotting. The stench is terrible. Because of this, I do not move in closer. The smell is felt even at some distance from the mall. Plus, there is some atavistic shyness left in me. I feel somewhat awkward to break into someone else's dwelling. It seems that I did it several times during the days of insanity, but I can't remember with certainty what feelings possessed me then. Thank God I can't. Day 3. I really miss the music. I'm trying to remember if there were any antique stores nearby. Maybe I'll be lucky to find a phonograph and records. Can't do anything about the books, though, and this fact hurts. Day 4. I am in a terribly bad mood for no reason. At least, without any particular reason today apart from the nightmare I live in. I thought I was beginning to get used to the weird world around me. I write to distract myself. It doesn't help. Does hell look so ridiculous? An empty city with a lonely, confused, blind man as its inhabitant? Day 5. I'm slightly out from the depths of depression. I went for supplies to the mall, and after the evening meal, I spent some time organizing the scant information I had about the delusional world around me. Sudden blindness or darkness, I don't know which is true, is not the only, and certainly not the most outlandish change of those that sent the familiar universe to the category of memories. First of all living beings except me inexplicably disappeared. Not died suddenly, but disappeared. I haven't found a single body yet, and I doubt I will except in the cemetery, buried before the great disappearance. Apparently, people disappeared along with whatever personal belongings they had with them. I haven't found any piles of clothes, shoes, or accessories abandoned on the street. It's unclear about the cars, as it's still challenging to blindly investigate such circumstances, but there's no doubt that the disappearance was accident-free. I specifically searched through several intersections that were busy in the past and found no evidence of car crashes. At first, I assumed that the people had simply disappeared along with the cars, but after a while, it appeared that the cars remained, both parked and in the roadway. It was then that I discovered that electricity no longer existed, not just on the city grid, because not a single electrical appliance worked at all, and not a single car started. True, even if all the cars had stopped at the moment of human disappearance. This did not explain the absence of collisions. They must have continued to move by inertia. However, I have already started getting used to such paradoxes, especially since I have no choice. The birds and animals have also disappeared. So far, I have heard no dogs barking, no cats yelping, no birds singing or chirping. Despite the abundance of rotgut in the supermarket, there are no flies either. I wonder where the line of extinction of living things lies. Are worms still alive? Microorganisms, bacteria, viruses? Although, if I recall correctly, my personal microflora and microfauna must be okay. Otherwise, I'd be suffering from severe digestive disorders by now, or maybe even dead. Such a crazy maze. Or mess. Whatever. I'm tired of writing. I'll continue tomorrow. Day 6. Found a camping stove and gas cylinders in the outdoor supplies shop. That was a lucky find because I'm tired of cold canned food and rusks. I boiled oatmeal on canned milk, burned it a little, but it tasted like food of the gods for me anyway. I'll try to make soup tomorrow. Day 7. Almost set the house on fire. I put the stove on the coffee table, and there was a bookshelf just above the table that I forgot about, as I can't see crap. I lit the burner first, and then went to get water. It was stupid of me, I know. Obviously, the flame was too big because, while I was gone, the shelf caught fire. Luckily, I smelled smoke immediately and realized what was happening. I should be more careful. I can't stop looking for evidence that the world in which other living beings were beside me is not a false memory of a solipsist. I did find dried dog shit on the lawn today and got terribly excited. So, dogs really did exist once upon a time. Maybe they're still out somewhere, although I have a hard time imagining where that somewhere might be. By the way, I need to figure out what month it is now. So far, it seems warm and summer-like, but is it July or August, or the beginning of September? I mean, I'll have to find winter accommodations. Central heating, of course, is dead, so I need to start looking for something with some kind of furnace, preferably a small house. I'm now downtown with big apartment buildings, which are not suitable for winter. There was a house I needed somewhere a few blocks from my current home, but I wonder if I can find it. I'll go looking for it tomorrow. Day 8. Wandered around the mall today and concluded that apparently the moment of the great disappearance was during the day, because almost all the second-floor stores are standing open. The iron curtains would have been down if it had happened at night. Strange that I hadn't thought of it before. It is a good thing that dogs have disappeared along with humans. In a pack, stray dogs could have attacked, and in the darkness, I wouldn't have suspected a thing until the last moment. Day 13. I had big plans for today, but instead, I spent practically the entire day staring at the wall. I mean, if I could see a wall, that's what you'd call it. The reason was that all the mechanical clocks stopped working. 10 days ago, I found what I was looking for, a small house with furnace heating. For the next 3 days, I worked like a dog, scouring the mall for food and other useful supplies, making several daily trips, hauling everything into the house and storing it in 2 rooms. Getting something to do was refreshing and even put a tiny spark of optimism into my weary soul. Getting something to do was refreshing and even put a tiny spark of optimism into my weary soul. When I woke up today, however, I discovered a new change. Back in the apartment where I had been living, barely out of the madness of the first few weeks, I found an old spring wound alarm clock. Of course, I had no way of guessing the exact time, but I needed at least some grip on reality, some pivot that would keep me from sinking into the black maelstrom of despair. So I carefully broke the glass on the dial, and even more carefully set the hands to 8 o'clock. Having waited for my evening, I usually slept at a time when it was impossible to feel the warmth of the sun on my face when I went outside. I started the alarm clock. Since then, I repeated this procedure every day and then blissfully listened to its ticking, which seemed more beautiful than the most sublime and refined symphonies. Today, the alarm clock had stopped and was silent, despite all attempts to start it. I decided that I had accidentally overstressed the spring yesterday, and it had snapped, although I was ready to swear that in the evening after the alarm clock was ticking. But when my precious stove refused to light up, I realized that the world keeps changing, and, to my deep regret, not for the better. Day 19. I think. I spent a few days after the incident with the alarm clock and other mechanisms again in a half-awake state. I remember trying to set the house on fire, but neither lighter nor matches produced a flame. Then I splashed the gasoline, drained from the tank of one of the abandoned cars, on the wooden fence and began to hit the granite boulder lying next to it with a hammer, hoping to carve a spark. Nothing. I only accidentally nearly crushed my knee when the hammer bounced off the boulder awkwardly. I burst into tears of pain and despair, but the cold rain that had begun suddenly drove me back into the house. Without an alarm clock, I quickly lost my sense of time, stopped paying attention to the sun's warmth, or was it gone too? I can't figure it out now. And because of the stress, I lost both my sleep and my appetite, so now I had to count the days, almost at random. However, it doesn't bother me much. When I recovered a bit, there were only 2 feelings, hunger and curiosity. What will be gone next? Day 24. Today, it's as bad as anything. God, I can't take it anymore. Day 27. Found evidence that the process is continuing. Went off the beaten path to get water today to the supermarket warehouse. By the way, it hardly stinks anymore. It finally dawned on me that instead of going around the perimeter of the big building to the main entrance every time, I could open the warehouse door from the inside and prop it open with something so I could get in through it both ways. But as I stepped out the door, I immediately realized something was wrong. Under my feet, there was not the hard pavement of the parking lot, but an unfamiliar smooth surface, cool, and a little elastic to the touch. After walking a couple dozen steps, I banged my forehead painfully against the obstacle, which, upon closer examination, turned out to be of the same nature as the surface beneath my feet. After spending some more time, I realized I was in a bubble with a radius of 24 steps. I found out that the obstacle goes upward too by throwing a bunch of keys I carried in my pocket several times into the sky. Each time, it hit something and fell, though according to my calculations, I should have thrown it on the warehouse roof. Most surprisingly, after going around the building again, I reached the warehouse door unobstructed, but when I wanted to return to the main entrance, I crashed into the bubble again. The invisible barrier was insurmountable, but only in one direction. I couldn't put up an explanation for it. Not that I really wanted to. Day 30. I'm not sure when exactly it happened, but now the sun is gone too, or the heat source that I had taken for solar. Despite the apathy that had gripped me, I was a little upset because it was a last external way of separating night from day, and thus one day from another. Damn it all. Day 34. More bubbles. Everywhere you go, you're bumping, and you're walking in circles. It's a puzzle of walking on bubbles. Desperation hits my nerves with each new bubble like a hammer. I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm tired. I just way too tired. God, how I'm tired. Day 37 maybe, or whatever. Was walking all around. Walk, walk, walk. Everywhere are bubbles. Bubbling, bubbly bubbles, bubbles. There's still food to eat. Eating food. Eat. Eat food to eat, not bubbling. Day 43. Feel a little bit better today. I can think and write. It was bad. The whole downtown, or maybe the world, is in bubbles. An anisotropic maze. There are no sounds anymore. Wind, rain, all is silent. Screamed silently. Now my throat hurts. Drank lots of water. Still no sound. Day 53, or who cares? No more wind, not even quiet rain. No more rain. No more leaves. No more trees. No more. No more. No more. I am. It is so much pain to think. Day, night, day. I have no hair, and my left arm is gone at the elbow. I just don't have any blood. It's scary. Don't think, can't, no, 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 oh God. I'm so scared, please, please, God. No, oh God, no, 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 no. Final review board. Outgoing. Office. NAR 26794-123A. To the head of the recycling department. Copies to the Chief Inspector of the Control Service, Deputy Chief Directorate for Utilization, heads of line sectors 3 to 14. You are hereby informed that serious lapses were made in the disposal of the spent segment E418, resulting in an incomplete disposal. One 22K category unit remains in the partially reduced segment. The unit has continued to exist independently for an unspecified amount of time, while the segment reduction has progressed naturally and uncontrolled. Please take immediate action to permanently dispose of the segment. A full report with conclusions on the blatant negligence in carrying out the disposal will be sent to the appropriate authorities to decide on the fate of the responsible persons. the results of which will be communicated to them at the next general meeting. We hope that from this moment on, all disposals will be carried out according to the developed and approved protocols without repeating such catastrophic blunders. Chairman of the Final Inspection Committee,